All right, pattern understanding. So pattern understanding is really, in a permaculture design, trying to create a design that imitates a natural pattern, and in so doing is creating a form which is expressed naturally in nature and is therefore going to be resilient and will form a good basis for the design. So the first part of applying this is really going through what the different patterns that you see in nature are, and then in each case how those patterns can be usefully incorporated into a permaculture design with some examples of that. And once you've got that as a bit of a foundation and you've patterned each of your productive elements within a landscape, you can start to look at how you can interconnect those different elements in beneficial ways, and in a wider landscape create levels of patterning that help organise the different elements within that landscape. And really the objective of what you're trying to do here is to create this functional diversity within a permaculture farm, where that diversity is based on an understanding of the processes that happen in nature and is trying to model off those processes. And in so doing that is becoming more resilient, more diverse and more sustainable long term. So it's trying to look at nature as a teacher and to make use of those lessons and bring them into a permaculture design to make a really resilient, robust long-term system. So the first step really is to go through what the patterns are and go through the examples of that. So just go through what the definition of a pattern really is as far as permaculture design goes. So when you've got two or more interacting elements within a natural system or a permaculture system, the interaction between those elements tends to represent itself as different patterns. And depending on what those elements are and the situation in which they interact, you get different patterns emerging. So with making use of those patterns, it's really a matter of thinking within the system you're designing, what are the elements that are interacting in nature, what are similar interacting elements, and therefore picking the most suitable patterns to imitate within your design. And through that imitation, you're trying to imitate the stability that represents or is represented in those natural systems. So, and I guess by doing that, what you're also trying to do is not just apply pattern for its own sake, but apply the pattern that is most applicable to the elements that you are trying to fit together in your productive system. And when you get it right, it looks aesthetically pleasing, it's functionally really robust, and long term it's going to create a system that becomes more stable, diverse and interconnected over time, which is the very natural progression that happens in a natural ecosystem.